what it is, but that music just hits perfectly for General Stemima. And, I got to give it up to Costas because it was his idea to go with that song for this character. But if I gotta be honest, Costas wanted rock music for every character, especially Emperor Temecula. And we're like, no, dude, hip hop works for Temecula. We'll find another character for the rock song. And lo and behold, General Stemima he hits so hard in that intro. I probably watched it 3 or 4 times before we even started making this video. But who's the person who's most excited about General Stemima and this reveal and the entire process with GadgetBot was Ian, our CEO, because as you guys know, General Stemima is his character. That's his username on Telegram, General Stemima. You guys see him in there when he's chatting. And about a year ago, so what was it, March of 2022, before me and Costas came on board as co-founders, if you remember, we revealed the entire team, the Khaled, Ian, Lewis, and Chris. And when it came time for Ian to reveal himself, he had on the General Stemima mullet and these crazy glasses with his eye blacked out to look just like him. Here's the full photo right here. Can you believe this was almost over a year ago, guys? Like, it's just so crazy how far we've come in such a short amount of time. But yeah, Ian made it very clear that Stemima was his character, and he looks just like him. I mean, come on, guys. Look at the resemblance there. And also a fun fact, Stemima's name actually comes from Steely-Eyed Missile Man. And what that means is a Steely-Eyed Missile Man is an astronaut or engineer who quickly devises an ingenious solution to a tough problem while under extreme pressure. The name originates from Apollo 12 mission and NASA engineer John Aaron. So it's some pretty cool backstory on the name of Stemima. But, this character, I always thought that he looked really cool from the beginning. And when you place him in the game, he's pretty badass. And his moveset is really cool too. Kind of does like an AoE effect when he spins around with his weapon. And I was really curious to see how GadgetBot was going to take this form and then evolve it and make it better. And of course, they did it, and they did an amazing job. But before we get to his backstory, I just wanted to show right here, if you guys remember from the trailer, he gets into this epic battle with Temecula, and he literally slides on his neck. This is one of my favorite battles in the trailer. He slides on his neck, and then he just gets back up on his feet, and he's ready to fight. Because the dude is tough, right? General Stemima is as tough as they come, and he needs to portray that when he's just standing there doing nothing, like he is on his character bio page right here. So, General Stemima is in charge of the ground forces that protect all humans on Earth. He's known to be blunt with his troops and fierce in battle. His experience is uncanny and has helped him win many galactic battles. He's the Emperor's right hand and is equipped with refined armor built from the most refined NiFe found only on Cayman, the asteroid that almost hit Earth. And for those of you who read our comic NiFe Wars, you would know about the asteroid Cayman. His weapons are powered by the rare stardust elements of Galena, the green giant, which allow him to control the elemental energies of the universe. So, backstory, quite badass. He's a super cool general, very well respected in the WAGMI army, and GadgetBot was like, yeah, we can make that happen. So, let's start from the beginning. Here's the General Stemima that we've all known and loved for the past 18 months. And here was the first version of him that GadgetBot sent over. And he looks a lot like the original here, right? And he has a different weapon. He has a spear weapon versus a big blade. And he has these packs on his shoulders. And it was just a very basic drawing. And so he wasn't the main focus at first. But when they finally came in with the first sketch, this is what we got. And there were some elements from here that we really liked that you're going to see continue throughout the sketches. Number one, he's a 5-star general, right? And so he has on his shoulder, actually on both characters' designs here, he has the star on his left shoulder there and the star on his left shoulder there. And when we started digging a bit deeper, we really liked the look and feel of the character on the left, but there were some elements from the character on the right that we wanted to keep. Like, for example, if you pay close attention, you can see he actually has his medals of honor hanging off of his chest piece right here. And we thought that that was really cool. So we wanted to take that idea. And then something that we actually did away with, you see all these tubes all over his suit, basically filled with the green stuff that's powering his suit. That's actually something they pulled from the original Stemima. If you guys pay close attention here, on his forearms and on his legs, he has these same kind of metal tubes, but we decided that it didn't really work for the character. Very, very reminiscent of Bane from Batman, right? Injecting all of the juice into the suit for more power. Then also this guy, I don't know if you guys watched the Voltron series on Netflix, but this is who I thought of immediately. Beta Traz Warden. He had the same kind of, tubes on his back, and then when the juice went in, it gave him a lot more power. So we decided to kind of move away from the tubes everywhere, the cylinders everywhere, but keep the tubing on his chest because, again, like he is pulling his power from somewhere, and we wanted to make that very visible. And as far as the weapons, we weren't really feeling either one of these, nor were we feeling him holding a big shield, right? And so as we moved into the next sketch for round 2, this is what they came back with. And I actually immediately fell in love with the character from this sketch. Ian saw a lot of things that he liked in here too, but there were some changes that we wanted to make. So some of the biggest changes you might see from here to here is his shield. His shield, instead of being something that he held, we went more down the road of Sartosis, where it's an energy projection shield. And that gives us a lot more room to play with him doing things in the future, like making the shield bigger, creating a dome. Maybe it could pulsate and repel enemies. There's just so much that can be done with an energy shield. And his head started having more of a Viking vibe, right? He has the hair, tied in a ponytail going down his back. He has the big beard, and it's gray. And because this is Ian's character, he's like, hey, let's not make him so old. Let's like make him a little younger. So you're gonna see that happen. And then the axe, I really like the axe, right? He gives off this Viking warrior vibe, and I've always been into Vikings. I think that they're super badass and tough, and a Viking really describes the way he is as a person. He's known to be blunt with his troops and fierce in battle. That screams Viking to me, but Costas actually had a really good idea that we ended up going with. Obviously, you guys saw it, and it was to give him a double-edged blade, almost like the weapon that Thanos has in Marvel, right? And so GadgetBot said, okay, we can try to do something like that. And when they came back with round 4, this is what they came with. And so we thought immediately, like, yes, that weapon looks so cool. It's not just another axe or another sword. It's an energy double-bladed weapon. Badass. And it matches the shield perfectly. It balances the character. And you can also see they started bringing in more of these green tubes to show that the suit is being powered, right, by that energy. The shield had a bit more detail. Adding the lightning effects in the shield lets you know that it's like pulsating with energy. And then we wanted to have some ideas for designs for his helmet for when he's in outer space, because he's essentially in a space suit. So what happens when he goes into space? Does he have a helmet, or can we do something with energy and project a helmet? And so that's what we ended up going up with here. You won't see that again probably till later in the future, but that's the idea for when he is in space. We're going to give him like a really cool energy helmet. So moving on to sketch number 5, things start to get really interesting because GadgetBot started adding more color to the character, and they came in with this blue for him that we really liked. Like, the green is great and all, but the blue is just so much easier on the eyes. The one thing we wanted to be very careful with, though, and a note that Ian kept saying, is we don't want him to look like Buzz Lightyear. So, for example, B looks really cool, but it gave off Buzz Lightyear vibes, and we didn't want to go down that route. I mean, this could eventually be an armor skin in the future. I do think it looks cool. Maybe he has different suits for different occasions, but lo and behold, we ended up sticking more with the A and A2 variants. And you guys are going to see some other things that were brought in here. He has the medals on his chest there. He has the 5-star general on his shoulder. And then obviously a lot more detail was punched in on the black parts of his suit too, which looks really cool. But then as we move into the next round, round 6, all of a sudden this character just took on an entirely new mood, right? I mean, they made him younger here, so they get. I'm sorry, it keeps going to a far zoom. They made him a lot younger, which was good, but pay attention to his chest. His chest here, like he just kind of looks like a soldier standing there. Whereas in this photo, we're like, wow, this dude has some mass to him. He's not small, he's not as big as the human emperor, but like when he stands out in the field, you know that that's General Stemima. So they started dialing a bit more of the detail here, buffed him up a little bit, put more detail into his shield, and then they started working on his weapon. And then when we went from round 6 to round 7 and we did the back and forths, guys, we were just like, oh my gosh, how beautiful does this character look right here? Everything is pretty much dialed in. You can see that same lightning going through his blade to let you know that it's energy that's constantly flowing. You can see the blue coursing throughout his entire body, throughout the entire suit. They even have it here in his headspace to show you eventually a helmet can come out of there. Even on his head, you know, they gave him these really cool tattoos that reflect the light coming off of his suit. And the only other thing we really had to figure out was what to do with his eyes. Because even from the very beginning, which is why Ian showed up like this to our original AMA, you know, he has a really cool eye patch. And so what they ended up doing was giving us a few other options of what to do for the eye patch, and it just looked a lot cooler with the colors from his suit being on the eye versus blending in too much with the back of his neck piece right here with it being blue. And so at the end of the day, we said, okay, Gadgetbot, Stemima looks amazing. Let's go with the eye patch that matches his suit a bit more, and that's what we got. And General Stemima, I mean, to go from the original where he looked pretty badass already, right? But to go from here all the way to here, I mean, guys, come on. That's an amazing transformation. And that's why at the end of the day, we all know that from all this hard work, whack me, baby, we're all gonna make it. And Stemima is gonna be leading the charge. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next character reveal.